Hi students, welcome to another session of All4 e-learning program. Now in this session we will learn about the applications of the electric field due to a point charge. Its applications, right? Electric field due to a point charge and its applications Now coming to the point, in the earlier session we were finding the formula for the electric field due to a point charge. Due to a point charge, the electric field is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square when it is in air, or 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught k, denominator k lies in the denominator, q by r square in the medium. Vector form of the electric field. Suppose if I imagine a charge q like this, and this charge is at the origin. If I imagine this charge to be at the origin O, right, and I have to find the electric field at a point P whose radius vector is r bar, then the electric field at this point, E bar is given as, right, actually F bar by Q naught, right. We have to place a test charge Q naught here. Then the force experienced by the test charge 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q naught by r square, in vector form F bar is 1 by 4 naught capital Q naught by r square times r cap, the unit vector in the direction of the radius vector, right. So this is the magnitude of the force, this is the direction, by Q naught it is. So Q naught cancel. So the electric field vector is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q by r square times r cap, where r cap is the unit vector in the direction from O to P, unit vector from. This is considered as the origin. This is the origin. If I take this as the origin, then the radius vector of the point P like this. Now this we know r cap, according, first we have learned by the definition of unit vector is r bar by mod r. So substituting this in this, so E bar is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q by r square times r bar by mod r. Multiplying this here, we get r cube, right. So therefore electric field vector is like this. This is 1 by 4 naught Q by r cube, r bar is the radius vector representing the point P from O, where O charge is at the origin. Then this is the representation. Now let us understand how do you write the vector form of the electric field if the charge is not at the origin. For example, consider a three-dimensional Cartesian plane like this, a 3D plane, Cartesian plane like this. Now let the charge be, now the charge of consideration, whose electric field we have to find out, capital Q. Let this be at a point A here, whose radius vector is r1 bar, right, whose radius vector is r1 bar. Now we are asked to find out the electric field due to this charge at a point P, right. Let the point be B like this. At this point B, right, here the electric field due to this charge at a point B whose radius vector is r2 bar. So in this earlier case, the charge, we were considering the charge to be at the origin. So whatever the position, we are imagining the origin at the charge, and the point of consideration is P, the radius vector is r bar. But here the charge is at some other point, and we are asked to find the field at a point P, at a point whose radius vector is r2 bar, right. So this is r1 bar and this is r2 bar. You can imagine this point as something like x1, y1, z1, and this the coordinates as x2, y2, z2. Then you know, as according to first year, r1 bar is x1 i cap plus y1 j cap plus z1 k cap. r2 bar is x2 j I cap, y2 j cap, and z2 k cap. So that is the expanded form. Now this is the displacement from A to B. Let this vector be represented as r bar. This is r bar. Now we in the earlier case, in your first year you have studied according to triangle law. If two vectors are represented as two sides of a triangle, this is A bar and this is B bar. Two vectors are represented as two sides of a triangle taken in order. The third side or the closing side taken in the reverse order represents the resultant vector. So therefore R bar is equal to A bar plus B bar. Applying the same on this. Now the origin O, point A, point B, these three form a triangle, of which you see OA is one vector and AB is another vector. Now two vectors these are the two vectors represented as two sides of a triangle taken in order, like this, A bar and B bar. So in our consideration, in our concept here, so R1 bar, that is OA bar, and AB bar, R bar, these are the two vectors represented as two sides of a triangle taken in order. So according to the triangle law, the third side or the closing side taken in the reverse order represents the resultant vector. That means OA bar plus AB bar, OA bar plus AB bar is equal to OB bar. So this is OB bar. So AB bar is equal to, I want AB bar, the radius vector, the displacement vector from A to B. AB bar is OB bar minus OA bar. So AB bar is R bar. So this is OB bar. OB bar is R2 bar minus R2 bar. Magnitude of R bar, it's mod R2 bar minus R1 bar. Unit vector of R bar, unit vector, it's R bar by mod R. That is R2 minus R1 by mod R2 bar minus R1 bar. Now, so we have got the radius vector R bar. So earlier just now I've explained, right? According to the definition, E bar is equal to F bar by Q naught. If I imagine a unit positive test charge Q naught, then the force experienced by unit positive test charge Q naught represents the electric field intensity at that point. So E bar is equal to F bar by Q naught. So E bar is equal to F 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. According to Coulomb's law, Q1, Q2, capital Q, small q, Q1, Q2, capital Q, Q naught by the radius vector R bar. So it is R square times R cap by Q naught. So Q naught gets cancelled. So it's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q by R square times R cap. But what is R cap? R cap is R bar by R. So it's R bar by mod R. Multiplying this to this, I get, so multiplying this to this, I am writing here. So E bar is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q by R square into R, it's R cube times R bar. But what is R bar? R2 bar minus R1 bar. So substituting, E bar is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q by mod R is R2 minus R1. So mod R2 minus R1 whole cube into that is R bar. R bar is R2 bar minus R1 bar. So the electric field, vector form of the electric field at any point in the Cartesian field plane due to any point at any, due to a charge at any point in that plane. So it's given as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q times R2 bar minus R1 bar by mod of R2 minus R1 whole cube. This is the vector form of the electric field, where charge is placed at the point whose position vector is R1. So R1 represents the position vector of the point where the charge exists. R2 is the position vector of the point where we have to find the electric field. So R2 bar is the point of consideration where the electric field is to be determined. Then E bar is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q times R2 bar minus R1 bar, right? Vector form, bracket, by mod of R2 minus R1, R2 bar minus R1 bar whole cube. Here also R2 bar minus R1 bar whole cube, right? This is the vector form of the electric field due to any charge at any point in the Cartesian this thing, and any point. If we know the position vectors, So I was telling you R1, first point is at R1, let the coordinates be x1, y1, z1. So R1 bar is x1i plus y1j plus z1k. Here you will substitute x1i plus y1j plus z1k. And R2 bar has coordinates x2, y2, z2. So R2 bar x2i plus y2j plus z2k. So substitute here. So evaluate, then find the magnitude. Right? So this way you can find the electric field due to any charge placed at any point in the Cartesian plane. At any point in the plane, just we have to know the coordinates of that point or the position vectors of the points. You can evaluate the electric field there. Okay? Consider simple mathematical applications of the electric field due to point charge. The first simple question. A charge of magnitude q is given at a point. What is the magnitude of the electric field at a distance, at a point P, at a distance r? So the electric field, magnitude of the field is simply 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q by r square. We know if it is in air, electric field in air, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is 9 into 10 power 9 capital Q by r square. First simple thing. Right, the magnitude of the electric field. If the same charge is in a medium, if it is in a medium, then it's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught k capital Q by r square, or electric field in the medium is 9 into 10 power 9 by k capital Q by r square. This is the simple value of the electric field in the medium there. Comparing these both, you would get electric field in air is k times the electric field in the medium there. First question. Second, if in the same thing, if instead of giving you a charge q, if he gives you a charge is formed by a point charge is formed by removing n electrons. N electrons are removed from the charge. Then what would be electric field due to the charge there? We know when n electrons are removed, then the charge is plus ne. Charge is quantized. Charge is always the integral multiple of the charge of the electron. So therefore, charge q is equal to plus ne. So instead of charge there, so the magnitude of the electric field you can write as 9 into 10 to the power of 9 ne by r square. A simple question, where n is the number of electrons transferred. Suppose if it is removed, you will get positive. So the direction of the electric field will be away from the charge. If n electrons are added, then it is negative charge minus, then the direction of the field will be towards it. First question. Second, in one of the North Indian entrance examination, a question was asked like this. The nucleus of a charge of atomic number Z in an atom of atomic number Z, the nucleus, find the electric field due to the nucleus at any point on the orbit of radius r. So there is a nucleus of an atom whose atomic number is Z, and there is an orbit of radius r. Then he is asking to find atomic number Z. Then what is the electric field due to this one? You know, nucleus of atomic number Z, then the nucleus is, the charge of the nucleus is plus Ze. So Q is plus Ze. The electric field is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Right, charge that is Ze by the distance r square. Now he has asked you the vector form of the electric field actually. The vector form of the electric field considering the charge to be at the origin. So E bar, its magnitude actually, E bar, now the vector form, it's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Ze by r square times the unit vector along r bar. So E bar is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Ze by r square. R cap is r bar by mod r. So that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Ze by r cube times r bar. This is the electric field vector. The electric field vector due to the nucleus of an atom. Nucleus of an atom at a point P, at any point on the orbit of radius r, then it is 1 by 4 naught Ze by r cube times r bar, right? So this way the questions are being asked there, right? Now next, the electric field. Now, if a spherical charged conductor, a conducting sphere of charge Q, a sphere is of charge Q, right, and radius R. A conducting sphere is charged with charge Q and radius R. Then what is the electric field on the surface point of the conductor? Now, you know, when charge on the conductor, charge is uniformly distributed such that all the charge seems to be existing at the center of the charge. It is referred as center of charge. On the conductor, the charge is uniformly distributed like this. So the charge behaves as if all the charge is concentrated at the center. Now it behaves as a point charge, capital Q, and the distance of the point, that is the radius of the sphere. Let us say the radius of the sphere is capital R. So he is asking to find the electric field on the surface of the sphere. So that is at a distance R. Then, so the electric field on the surface of the sphere is, now considering this charge, all the charge to be existing at the center of the sphere. Whenever charge is given to a conductor, all the charge exists is uniformly distributed on the conductor such that all the charge seems as if all the charge exists at the center, referred as center of charge. So if I consider all the charge is to be at this point, now the distance of the point is R. Now it behaves as a point charge. So the electric field due to this is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. It's charge Q by R square. The magnitude of the electric field on the surface of a charged conducting sphere, or we can even say charged conducting sphere or a hollow spherical shell. The electric field due to a hollow spherical shell, conducting spherical shell, when the charge is uniformly distributed. Then when the charge is uniformly distributed, all the charge behaves as if all this is existing in the center. Like center of mass in first year, when a uniform body, a spherical uniform body, all the mass seems to be existing at the center, called center of mass. Similarly, we can imagine all the charge, it is only possible when the charge is the body is uniformly charged. So when all the charge is uniformly charged like this body, then this uniform charge seems as if all the charge exists at this point. So it behaves like a point charge. Considering it as a point charge, then the field at distance R, then it is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square. This is the electric field due to hollow spherical conducting spherical shell, charged hollow conducting spherical shell. Or the same thing you can even consider for the electric field due to a solid conducting charged sphere, right? Solid conducting charged sphere. Same formula for the electric field due to the sphere there, right? Now, in one of the top entrance examination, a question was asked like this. There was a charged ring of radius capital R, where the charge is uniformly distributed over the charged ring. The charge is uniformly distributed. A charge Q is uniformly distributed over the charged ring like this. Now, on this charge, a small part of the charge is removed. A small part of the charge, a very small part of the charge is removed. A very small part of the charge. Let's say this small part of the charge has a distance dx, right, or dr, let us say. Right, a small part of the charge is removed, or let us take it as smaller. Length of this small part, the length of this part is negligible when compared to the circumference of the ring, is removed from it. Then what would be the electric field at this point? What would be the electric field at the center of the ring? A very beautiful question. Let us understand this carefully. Now consider a charged ring. Charge is uniformly distributed over it. So a charge exists at this point, uniformly separated like this, right, this way. Charge is continuous. But let's imagine the charge like this. Now, when I consider the electric field at the center, let me consider a small part of a charge. I was telling you the definition for point charge. The definition of point charge is the size of the charge particle is negligible when compared to the distance of the point of concentration. Now I want to find the electric field due to this part of the charge at the center. So I am taking a small tiny part whose size is very less when compared to the radius of the sphere. So if I consider this as a point charge, then the electric field due to this, since it is positive, the electric field due to this at this point would be in this direction, some magnitude q. Consider a similar charge exactly diametrically opposite point on the sphere. Consider exactly as a part of the sphere diametrically opposite on the surface of the sphere, same size as this. So whatever charge this small part would possess, the same charge even this part would possess. If I again consider this as a point charge, size is small as compared to the distance. Now the field due to this at this point, right, would be in this direction. Since it is positive, direction is away. Now both the parts have same magnitude, and the distance of the point where I am finding the electric field is also same. The radius r and the radius r. So field due to this, if it is of magnitude E, then certainly the field due to this at this point would be E, and both are equal and opposite. So the net field is cancelled. So similarly, if I imagine point charges taking small elements on the charged ring, on this charged ring, if I imagine small parts like this, then for every point here there would exist a corresponding point on the diametrically opposite point where both will produce equal and opposite field. So the net field will be cancelled, right? That is the reason when you consider a charged ring, uniformly distributed charged ring, the net electric field at the center is 0, because due to this part field is like this, due to this it is cancelled, due to this it is in this direction, the same thing this way, due to this part. So every part of the element that you consider on the charge ring will have a corresponding part on the diametrically opposite point producing a same equal and opposite field. So all the fields are cancelled, the net field at the center would be 0. That field is 0. So coming to our problem, actually in our problem he said a part of it is removed. Now what we will do is, let us consider that all the part of the ring is existing, right? Even this part is also existing. So the net electric field at this point is 0, right? Now a small part is being removed. Let this small part is somewhere here. The small part is somewhere here. Its charge is, let us say, small q, right? Its charge is small q and the distance is smaller. Now, so if the ring is completely charged, total part of the ring exists, then the total electric field is 0, because this about this one it is cancelled, about this all are cancelled. But now when I consider these two, this part and the diametrically opposite point on the sphere there, right? So this part would produce a field in this direction, let us say E, and this part will be producing an electric field in the opposite direction E. Even these two also will get cancelled. But he said this part of the charge is removed, in the sense this part is not existing, it is now absent. So if this part is absent, then the field due to this part is also absent here. So the field due to this does not exist. In the sense, the field due to the correspondingly diametrical opposite point will have its net field existing at that point. Had it been totally charged, then every point will be cancelled by the opposite point, right? Even if when this part is also existing, so this part is producing a field here and this fellow will produce the same field, both will get cancelled. Now since this part of the charge is not existing, so it's absent, so the field due to this is also absent. So a unneutralized field now exists because of the diametrically opposite point. The remaining all the part of the ring is cancelled symmetrically. All this part of the ring would be cancelled by all the remaining part of this ring here. So right, so all this will be cancelled except due to this part. Therefore, the resultant electric field at this point is equal to the field produced by the corresponding diametrically opposite part that exists diametrically opposite on the sphere there, right? This small part is like this, and diametrically opposite corresponding point is here, right? So this part of the charge is absent given in the problem. So the field due to this is absent, but the field due to this part will exist here, unneutralized, unbalanced, uncancelled. The remaining all the sphere, all the ring, remaining all part of the ring, this part of the ring, for all this part of the ring, there is existing the correspondingly opposite points here. So this part will be cancelled by this will be cancelled by this will be cancelled by this by this, all the part. For every point on the ring, there is a corresponding point in the opposite one which will cancel its field. But since this part is absent, so the field due to this here is also absent, so which it was actually balancing, cancelling there, but this is absent. Now this field remains. So whenever this part is absent, now the net field here is due to this part, the corresponding point on the diametrically opposite part of the ring there. So let this small part possess a charge small q. So the net electric field at this point is due to the small corresponding point on the diametrically opposite part of the ring there. Now given charge is uniformly distributed, in the sense a total charge capital Q is uniformly distributed over the circumference of the ring. We know the circumference of the circle is 2 pi r. Over a length 2 pi r, the charge capital Q is uniformly distributed. Right? For this length of the ring, this is the charge. Since the charge is uniformly distributed, for L length, if it is Q, for L by 2, it would be Q by 2 because it is uniform distribution. Same proportion. So therefore, for total circumference 2 pi r, the total charge is Q. For this small part length, given the length in the problem is small r, for a small part small r, let us consider the charge be small q. So therefore, these both are in same proportion. Small q by capital Q is small r by 2 pi r. Cross multiply. Small q is capital Q small r by 2 pi capital R, equation 1. So the field is due to that small part field. The unbalanced field is due to that small part of the ring, right? Exactly diametrically opposite to the point that is absent given in the question. So that small part has a charge small q. Now considering this as a point charge, we have evaluated the field due to a point charge is 1 by 4 pi epsilon q by r square. So the field due to this small part E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by distance of the point from this part. Distance of the point is radius of the ring given. So the radius of the ring is r square, equation 2. Now substituting 1 in 2. So therefore E bar is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. The part of the charge that is unbalanced, this small q is capital Q by, so it's capital Q small r by 2 pi capital R. This is small q by 1 by r square. So the electric field E is 1 by 4 to 8 pi into pi square epsilon naught capital Q into small r by r into r square. This is r cube. This is the magnitude of the electric field due to the small part that is removed. A small part of the charge is removed from the ring, then the remaining field existing at the center of the ring, E bar, magnitude of this is given as 1 by 8 pi square epsilon naught capital Q small r by r cube. Now what is the direction? If the charge is positive, every point will produce a field, the direction away from it. So this part will produce a field this side, this part will produce a field away from it. Now, this part of the ring is absent, right? So the field due to this part in this direction is absent. But when I consider the total ring, every part will produce equal and opposite fields. So therefore, this part produces a field like this, and this part would have produced a field like this. Both must get cancelled. But now this part is absent, so this field is also absent. Now the charge direction is like this. So the direction of the electric field is towards the part that is absent given in the question. So the direction towards that part, had the part been here, then the field would have been in that direction. Had the part been here, field would have been in this direction. So when the charge is positive, so the magnitude of the charge is 1 by 8 pi square epsilon capital Q into small r. Small r is the length of the part that is removed by capital R cube, where capital R is radius of the ring there, right? This is the magnitude. And the direction, since the ring is positively charged, then the direction of the electric field is towards the part that is absent. A very beautiful question asked in one of the entrance examination like this, right? So I shall repeat the question again. The question is, a ring of radius capital R is uniformly charged with a amount of charge capital Q. A small part of the ring, a small length of the ring of length small r is removed from it. Then the net electric field at the center of the ring is dash. Had the complete ring been existing, had all the complete ring is uniformly charged being existing, then the resultant net electric field at the center of the ring would have been 0. But a small part is being removed, it seems. So a small part of length smaller is removed. Then what is the field? The field that is unbalanced there. The field is 1 by 8 pi square epsilon naught capital Q small r by r cube. A very beautiful question. You know, in the options, he'll jumble the things. Instead of pi square, he'll give you pi. Instead of r cube, he'll give you r square. Instead of small r in the numerator, he'll give you denominator. So he'll jumble the things, right? So it is 1 by 8 pi square epsilon naught. Now you know why this pi square has come into existence, because that perimeter of the ring, the circumference of the ring 2 pi r. For this length of the ring, the charge is capital Q. For the total length of the ring 2 pi r, charge is capital U. For the small part smaller, what is the charge? First we have to find in charge. When the charge is uniformly distributed, charge exists in proportion with respect to the length. So first step, find the magnitude of the charge of the part of the ring there. So the magnitude of the charge for length L, for length smaller, it's capital Q smaller by 2 pi capital R. Right? This is equation 1. Then considering this part as a point charge, the field due to point charge, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, its charge is Q, we know, 1 by 4 epsilon charge Q by R square. So substituting 1 into 1 by 4 epsilon naught capital Q into small r by 2 pi r into 1 by R square. So simplifying, this is the electric field. Right? A very beautiful question to be remembered. Right?